Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick little update on our homestead here. We have the turkeys out in the backyard now, out of their coop. I'll give you a look at them in just a minute, and we're going to go feed the pigs and see what we got going on in there as well. So the turkeys I have here in the Premier One poultry netting. It's just a small fenced in area powered by a solar charger, and it gives them a little bit of free range and grass to feed on throughout the day. And now I can actually move this around our backyard as they kind of peck and scratch this. But unlike chickens, they don't really scratch the ground and tear it up. They just kind of pick bugs and the tips of leaves and clover off. But this lets them stretch their legs, give them a fresh area. It gives them a fresh area to poop in, and it keeps them an awful lot cleaner than just sitting over there in my chicken pen. Now, as far as the pigs are concerned, they are growing like crazy. I gave you guys a real quick look the other day at my pig pen, and not much has changed as far as the pig pen is concerned. I put in a black gravity feeder. You should be able to see it back there. I put in a gravity feeder and put 250 pounds of feed in there. They went through it in a little over 2 weeks, which was about right as far as the feed rate goes for their size at the time. But one thing I didn't like was the mess they were making. So I'll show you what I did to kind of negate that mess. But long story short, I ended up actually going with wet feed for these pigs because I think it's helping with their gut health. I think it's helping them absorb more of the nutrients, and it's giving me an excuse every day to get out here at least once, sometimes twice, and interact with the pigs a little bit more. Pig, pig, pig. You guys ready? You guys ready for a little feed? I'll bet you are. What you got going on with your eye there? You got some mud. She's got a little crusty mud in there, it looks like. There's our floppy-eared right there. Big female pig. There's our big boar. And then we've got these younger pigs here. Come on, big, 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 big. Come on, pig. Show off to the camera here. Come on, pig. Show them how good you are. Come on, pig. There she is. Now you can see the pigs, they're a little skittish still. I don't know if these pigs are ever going to really warm up to me the way you see some people have their pet pigs, kind of. We got these pigs pretty late in the game. They were well past weaned. They had not had a lot of human contact. They were kept in a pig farm with large pens with a dozen or more pigs in each pen. And the only time they really had human contact was when they were collected by the consumer. So, you know, early on, if I had had these pigs right at weaned age, I'm sure that they would be a lot more comfortable with me. For what these pigs are purposed for, I'm fine with this. They let me get around them. I'm not usually in any kind of danger. I've only had one of them nip at me, and I think it was kind of a curiosity thing, to be honest. And otherwise, they're just fine. I can get in and out of here, and they kind of give me a wide berth, but they let me feed them. I've actually been able to measure one of these pigs last week, and based on the, I think it was the body length and girth formula, took the measurements, made the multiplications, and the pig was estimated around 87 pounds, and that was about last week, and that was our spotted pig with the floppy ears. So she's not even the biggest. I think now we are getting really close to that 100-pound mark on our two older pigs, and the younger ones are a little bit less, but by the time these pigs hit market value, we should be in the end of October or early November, and we're in the first week of July right now. So we have plenty of time to grow these pigs out, and we may even be hitting a little higher weights than what I initially had hoped for by that time. So let's take a quick walk around the pen here and I'll show you what we got going on. The first thing I have is their, let me see if I can angle this down, is their water barrel, 55-gallon drum. I didn't do the best job building it, but right now we're still able to use about 30 gallons. The mistake I made was putting the water nipple too high on the barrel. Right there I've got the nipple probably almost halfway up the barrel, but we're still able to use at least 30 gallons at a time. And then you can see over here what we've got going on. I have a large rock sitting at the bottom of the barrel to help with keeping the weight, the center of gravity, low. But even so, once it gets empty, they can flip it and roll it. What I ended up doing to avoid the mess, they were spreading it. You see how it falls right out, even empty, there's a little left. It falls out on the ground, and they were kicking it all over the ground here and wasting feed. So I learned this off watching other guys' YouTube, cutting a tire, a truck tire, in half. I used my circle saw and cut that thing around, and then the feeder goes down in it and it acts like a dish. When it's all put together, it looks like a jumbo sized chick feeder, like a gravity feeder, how you put the mason jar on top of the dish and the feed falls through and the chicks will peck it out. It just looks like that, but it's like a 60-gallon drum. So that's all it was right there. And then you have a self-serve gravity feeder for your pigs, and this way you can keep feed in here 24/7, and kind of at their own leisure they'll feed throughout the day. They did not eat an overabundance of feed, I think partially because it's dry. They're just not as inclined to overeat as much on the dry food, because when I did the weight per the amount of days that it was out here, it came into right on feed schedule, what they were eating, based on what I budgeted for a 6-month grow out. Something that I've added to their pen is a little shelter for shade. It's not waterproof or weatherproof, but it provides a little bit of structure for them to relate to and maybe find a little bit of shade in during the heat of the day. And that's this thing right here. It's just made out of pallets. Costs about 20 bucks in pallets when I picked them up, and I've screwed them together with some deck screws. One of their favorite things to do, you can see over here on this big tree, is root around the base of these trees. And they've got mud where they've been scratching themselves on my trees. Their favorite spot to sit is down here. I think it's because of the shade. Partially it finds a lot of shade underneath a massive pine tree, and then these little trees here, and there's a maple tree back there, but I don't know what these others are, if I'm being honest. But they will all four collect right down here in this little wallow. They really aren't smelling the way we thought they would. Now if it rains and we get a lot of heat the next day, all that moisture in the ground evaporates and some of that smell does come out and blow across the yard. But it has not been repulsive at all, and we've had our small group from church out here and nobody complained about the smell of these pigs. One thing I've noticed is they often use the bathroom over here on this side of the pen. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time they will get up and go pee on that other side of the pen, and they'll poop there as well. They spread the poop a little bit more, but it seems like when they have to get up and urinate, they're running to this end of the pen to do it. My gate is interesting. It's a pallet that I've strung over top of one of these posts. I have a dog leash and a little chicken wire here to keep it closed. The chicken wire is wrapped up around the T-post, comes around, hooks into this little deck screw, and then I clamp it to make sure it's not going anywhere. At night, for some added reinforcement, I will take this and wrap it around and hook it there, and it comes back down here. So that's about as simple as I can make it. It just adds a physical structure there, again, to slow them down if they push against it and test it just long enough to catch that yellow wire. I also have my garden hose in here to feed my water to make it as maintenance free as possible. One thing I did have to do since my last update was catch these pigs and deworm them with ivermectin injections. I will say this, if I was smart, I would have injected them as I brought them home, seeing as how I already had to catch them once at the farm. So before even releasing them in here, I would have given them their meds and then set them free and not had to catch them a second time. That was a mess. I've got a couple of clips here to show you guys. It was a bit of fun, but at the same time it stressed out the pigs. It was a big hassle for me and my friend that helped me out. And I think it started to kind of set back these pigs relating to me and being comfortable around me. Now they're a little more cautious than they were before. So don't do that. Learn from my mistake. There's another pig peeing back there. So learn from my mistake. Deworm them when you bring them home. Or figure out a better way of doing it than what I did. I'll bring you guys another update here in a couple of weeks. As always, I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, and God bless.